Welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of the Royal Rumble's potential participants. Now, yesterday, we did go over the Raw superstars, the NXT call-ups, debuts, and some maybe returns. Today, it's going to be Smackdown, as well as the very first ever Women's Royal Rumble. Now, in all, as far as Smackdown and Raw, there's only a total of 22 women's superstars, and that's including the champions. So nothing's set in stone. There are talking about maybe doing a 20 women. I mean, if they do a 30, they could still easily bring back some of the best, like Trish Stratus, Lita. I mean, the list goes on and on, but we'll get to that once we get towards the end of the video. For the Smackdown, Baron Corbin, the man has had probably, this is definitely his worst year for sure. I mean, he lost his briefcase. He just recently lost the U.S. title. If you want to kind of start doing something with Corbin again, put him in the Rumble, have him actually do something. Kevin Owens, KO will definitely be in there for sure. KO is going to be in there along with his longtime friend. And I know they were feuding for pretty much the beginning of their WWE career, but these guys, they're going to totally just take over for sure. They're going to just tear down the house. I want to see Sami and Kevin Owens just blow the roof off the house, right? I think Sami and KO, they would put on a great show. There's no doubt that these two will be in it for sure. Speaking of teams, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. Shelton Benjamin, he had a great career back in the Ruthless Aggression days. This time around, I don't know. They still have yet to capture the titles. I feel like these two, I would definitely like to see both, especially Chad Gable. Chad Gable, he's impressed me. I can't stress how impressive this man's wrestling technique has been as of late. If you want to talk about Suplex City, Lesnar, you definitely got somebody up for the runner-up, mayor, right? Mayor of Suplex City. So I'm going to vote for you, Chad Gable. Not to win the Rumble, but for mayor of Suplex City. Randy Orton. Randy Orton is one of the top superstars of SmackDown. There's no reason as to why they would not include him. Orton would be just RKOing people left and right. Jinder Mahal, well, here's the thing. So we all know that WWE has officially given up on him. And if you kind of want to put him in the mid-card level, that's fine. Do that. But you got to put him in the Rumble just to kind of prove to people the reason as to why he was champion for so long. I mean, he had one of the longest reigns as WWE champion. So I can definitely see him being in the Rumble. Not necessarily winning, but actually just kind of telling people, look, I was WWE champion, and I'm just going to show you what I can still do in the Bobby Roode. It would not be a glorious Royal Rumble without the glorious Bobby Roode, right? I want to see Bobby Roode in there. I want to see him last. I want to see him at least eliminate 7, maybe 8 people. I think it would be a great thing for Bobby Roode's career. I mean, ever since he came up to SmackDown, he's done a lot. He's definitely done a lot. Now, there's definitely a big question about Dolph Ziggler, and he hasn't quit. I mean, I know he walked out on SmackDown, and he pretty much put the belt on, in the middle of the ring, but I think it may be like, and they are going to write him off TV. They're going to write him off TV. Nothing's official as to how long he's going to be off. He's still going to be doing house shows, but I think what will end up happening is that he'll end up making his return at Royal Rumble, just kind of reminding people and kind of debuting the title. So I'm curious if they're going to actually just, do like a tournament or something, or if they're just going to keep it hush-hush until he comes back. So we'd definitely like to see Dolph Ziggler in the Rumble. Shinsuke Nakamura, they've completely destroyed his character this year. I mean, when he made his debut on SmackDown, he made his presence felt. There's no doubt about that. But as the months have progressed, I mean, they've literally destroyed the name of Shinsuke Nakamura. And if you want to see this man go up against AJ Styles for the WWE title, drop a like, right? That would be awesome. I think if I were to have, I know on my previous video we talked about some of my favorites. Shinsuke Nakamura, definitely in that top 3. Now, it wouldn't be a Royal Rumble without Ruru, right? Rusev Day. It's Rusev Day every day at the House of Hero Fakes. Ruru's got to be in there. Maybe Aiden English. It's mainly about Rusev. Come on, it's Rusev Day every day. Aiden English is a great superstar. Don't get me wrong. Daniel Bryan. I know we've talked about his potential return to the WWE ring. This would be great. This would be a great way to debut back into a WWE ring and just kind of like start building up that story, right? Maybe throw Shane McMahon in there. And again, this is the reason why I didn't choose 15 superstars is because we have to account for the call-ups as well as the returns, right? So Daniel Bryan for sure. Now for the women's, right? This is the very first ever that we're seeing this. And this year, we had our very first women's Money in the Bank briefcase match, and you guys know, right? who was there to win the match, James Ellsworth. And this is, again, there are talks about bringing back James Ellsworth. If they do, it would most likely be for the Women's Royal Rumble. I hope they don't, because, oh, man, I can't tell you how many people were upset about that. Like, seriously, if he comes back and wins that Women's Royal Rumble, I'm pretty sure that crowd is going to riot. Now, Asuka for the Raw, right? Definitely going to have Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow. I can actually see her winning this. Out of any women's superstar, she is definitely, like, my number one. There's no doubt Asuka will most likely pull out this one. This would be a great way to go into WrestleMania, right? And challenge Alexa Bliss. Because if you remember, the winner of the Royal Rumble gets to choose whether, because at least that's how it was in the past years. They can either choose to compete either in the Raw or SmackDown. Of course, Nia Jax would be in it, right? We would also have Mickie James, Paige and company with her new, she would bring the entire gang. Paige would bring in the entire gang and just completely wreak havoc. We would definitely have Dana Brooke, right? I haven't seen much of Dana as of late. Bayley, yeah, we want some Bayley. Definitely Bayley. Some Alicia Fox and the boss, Sasha Banks. It's boss time, right? Now for SmackDown, we have not seen Brie Bella, and gosh, how long's it been? I mean, it's been a while as far as like actual in-ring competition, so she would definitely be in there. Becky Lynch, Naomi, Carmella cashing in her Money in the Bank. I can maybe see that at Royal Rumble, right? Kind of like well, not in the actual Royal Rumble match, but maybe later on in the night. I think it's time. Because, I mean, that year is... Because you technically only have 12 months to cash that in. So I can see that happening at Rumble. Lana, would love to see Lana in there for sure. I know that she really hasn't done much since they actually put her in ring competition. But I'd still like to see Lana in there, right? Now, I know Natalya, she kind of was saying that, you know, she's kind of turned her back on the WWE Universe, but she'll still be there. She's been tweeting about it. And, of course, Tamina, right, she would just destroy it. And as far as returns, because, again, as I was talking about in the beginning of the video, there are some maybes that might come back. One of the biggest ones that they've mainly been talking about is Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus, she still looks great. She's very... she's solid. I mean, she's still in great shape. Also, Lita, I would love to see Lita. And I know Stephanie McMahon, you know, she kind of was the one. And believe it or not, nobody knew about this. As far as like the women's division, nobody knew that this was actually going to happen. But the one that announced it, Stephanie McMahon, I do see herself throwing herself in there and eliminating a good handful. I can definitely see her pulling a Triple H, you know, Survivor Series, right? Kind of what Triple H did. He ended up winning the match. So I can see herself throwing herself in there and taking a lot of the women out. And I mean, she's not going to win. Like I said, right here, for sure, the Empress of Tomorrow, that's kind of who I'm going with. And maybe some... Because, again, if they are going with 30 women, they're going to have to find some fillers. Maybe Renee Young, right? I know she's part of the announce team, but let's get Renee in there. Let's see what she can do. And also a big name that has been announced and she's not a WWE superstar, UFC superstar, Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, there's been a lot of talk about her making her way, or not her way back, but making her debut in a WWE ring. And the Royal Rumble, that would be a great way to introduce her. Give me your thoughts, your opinions. If, you know, whoever wins, whether it's SmackDown or Raw for the women's, who would you like to see Asuka go up against? Or, you know, maybe any other superstar, because this is kind of like my pick. And then for the SmackDown or Raw, again, the winner of that, I'm pretty sure if it is Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm crossing my fingers, that's kind of who I'm hoping wins it. Would you like to see him go up against AJ or Brock Lesnar? Because technically, both of those are fantasy dream matches. Give me your thoughts, though. I can't wait for this Women's Royal Rumble. It's going to be epic. Until next time, everybody.